Indian airlines are facing strong headwinds, rising fuel costs and stiff competition. What are they doing to stay afloat? With us today at INSEAD Knowledge is Nikos Kardassis, CEO of Jet Airways. Nikos, welcome to INSEAD Knowledge.
Hi, thank you very much, and good afternoon, Grace. It's a pleasure being here with you.
What are some of the challenges that Jet Airways is facing today?
It's a difficult environment in India, the airline aviation sector that is going through. There are a few things that are happening. We have a high fuel prices, which is affecting our business, affecting the bottom line. We recently had a depreciation of the rupee for up to 20%, which makes everything more expensive for an airline. It's the fuel prices becoming more expensive because the Indian oil companies are buying in dollars, so they pass the depreciation of the rupee into their pricing into the airlines. In addition to that, as you know, running an airline in India and operating an airline in India, you depend on purchasing of heavy equipment such as airplanes and engines and maintenance. All of that is priced into a dollar. So the depreciation of the dollar, in addition to the high fuel prices, it has made it very expensive, very difficult for us to operate and operate profitably. In addition to that, we have increase in our costs at the airport. There are many costs at the private operators in Mumbai, as well as Delhi, Hyderabad, and others they pass to the airline. So operating at the airports right now, either through ground handling or other countries, is becoming more expensive. So operating environment and cost of doing business in India for an airline is becoming expensive by the day. In addition to that, we're facing stiff competition with all of our competitors, and there is a price war that is taking place. It started last year with Air India Airlines, and compounding with all of our main competitors, Kingfisher's problems, they're diluting the fares into the market. So we find out that in a rising cost environment where the price of the fuel has gone up by 30 to 40%, and so the rest of the costs, yields actually have come down over the last 2 or 3 years. We're operating right now with yields and average fares which are lower than 2008, 2007, and certainly the cost of operating it's much higher. So it is a very, very difficult environment right now in India.
What measures are being taken to keep costs under control?
We have taken steps since last August to reduce our expenses considerably. We find out through various expense elements we can reduce costs for about $180 million a year. We had to renegotiate some of our maintenance and engineering contracts. We gave up 50% of our spaces that we were occupying at the airport from engineering, security, customer services. Same thing with our ticket offices and sales offices. So we have reduced that extensively. Also, we're trying to run the operation with less number of staff. So we stopped hiring new employees into the company since August last year. So through attrition, we're looking to reduce payroll. And basically we have froze all other spending that it might be even stationary, or it might even be awarded to the employees. Sometimes we just have to be very, very diligent how we spend money, and have become very, very thrifty in order to be able to navigate this environment. We are taking steps though. All of that is going to help, but it's not going to make the airline profitable. So we are taking steps to find other ways to raise revenue for the company, and these might be the peripheral revenue other than the average price of a fare. It might be start charging the customers for reissuance of tickets, start charging for excess baggage. We have become a lot more diligently about this. We're starting to charge for transaction fees every time you call our call center. So all of that, in addition to selectively what we think that the opportunity is to increase fares, maybe in premier class between Bombay or Delhi or some other sectors, we're trying to bring the yields up and the peripheral revenue to help the airline. But certainly it is a pretty tough environment at the moment in India.
What are your plans for domestic operations?
It's a very, very good question because the one thing that we need to understand is that the projections from 2012 to 2020, the domestic market in India is going to grow from 50 million to 150 million passengers a year. Significant increase, threefold increase over the next 10 years. Jet Airways right now is the leading airline in the full service segment with our Jet Airways product, and with our Jet Connect and Jet Light product, we're also the dominant and the leading player in the low cost segment in the market. We expect both to grow over the next 8 years. There are going to be the consumers and customers where they want to pay for full service. They appreciate the newspapers, the meals, the seating arrangements, and that market will continue to grow, which is the corporate market. And corporate market in India is going to continue to grow, and we're going to be there. That's Jet Airways, and we're going to grow. But at the same time, we do know that there's a leisure market, there's a low-end customers, where also that is going to grow. The young people, where they don't care so much about the newspaper, they care about the fare, and we're going to cater to this market. We have, by introducing our low-cost product, Jet Connect, 2 or 3 years ago, we have been able to increase our market share from 20% to 26%. Recently, we, as of February, you're probably going to hear this for the first time, our market share will go to 30%. So 25% of our operation is from the full service and 75% from the low-cost service. We will continue to grow on both segments in the market because we want to continue to be the leading airline in India with the largest market share.
Are you ramping up your fleet capacity?
Absolutely. We just talk about the domestic growth for the next 8 years. It's the same thing for international. The same growth is expected to be international. Right now, 55 million passengers a year in India fly domestic, and there's another 50 million, just about the same number, that fly international. That is also expected to grow over the next 8 years at the same rate as the domestic, if not more. So again, for us, we want to maintain our leadership position as the leading airline in India, and just for us to stay even, to continue to have 27, 28, or now recently 30% of the market share, we need to grow with the market. So we have ordered 737s, 737-800, the new technology with Boeing. We have 46 of 737s that are coming over the next 3 or 4 years. We also have on order 5 A330-300s with Airbus for our international operations. And in addition to that, we have placed an order for 10 787s with Boeing for delivery 2014 and 15. And I think this is what we have done so far. But in addition to that, what we have ordered, in addition to that, we're going to continue leasing aircraft as we see an opportunities. Yes, the Jet Airways fleet over the next 3 or 4 years has to double just to be able to maintain its leadership position.
What would you like Jet Airways to achieve during your tenure?
Grace, as you know, I have been associated with Jet Airways from the very start of the airline, when the chairman and I said, let's start an airline in India back in the late 1980s. And I was here as a CEO. I left, so I don't know what the term tenure is, because to me, Jet Airways is part of my life, and I think it's forever. So therefore, but for whatever the tenure is, and as long as I'm the CEO of Jet Airways, there are a few things that I wanted to make sure that we achieve. One is, the chairman's dream was always to be to make Jet Airways one of the best airlines, if not one of the top 2 or 3, 4 airlines in the world. And I believe in his dream, and I believe in his mission, and I will try to make sure that I do my very best. Also, the chairman's vision from the very beginning is he wanted to make sure that Jet Airways is a brand and an airline that would be the ambassador of India to the world, that every Indian would be proud of. So therefore, in terms when it comes to the product, we wanted to make sure that we have an exceptional product, something that we're very proud of, and something that portrays and shows the real India, the warmth of India. And so we wanted to do that. I wanted to make sure that we run a very, very, very safe operation, because safety is important to us. We have a more obligation to make sure that all of our passengers and our crew feel safe, and we do everything to we run an extremely safe operation. And the other thing that I wanted to make sure is that we are profitable. At the end of the day, we're living in a very competitive environment, and I wanted to make sure that we're very profitable. I'm very proud of my first tenure with Jet Airways. You know, even when I had a conversation with the chairman the other day, is that all 5 years, when I was here 5.5 years, all 5.5 years were profitable years for the company. We're facing different markets, different dynamics. It's not as easy right now, but I wanted to be able to again, to say, at least through my tenure, the company was profitable, if not every single year, but collectively. And I think just turning the company and being profitable is what I wanted to make sure that I achieve all the time.
What are the biggest opportunities ahead?
Biggest opportunities? I think this market is tremendous. I mean, you see Europe and the market, the aviation market is zero, or maybe it's growing by 1%. And then when market grows by 2 or 3%, people get all excited. Here in India, domestic market last year grew by 18.5%, which is the best year ever for an aviation industry in its history. And we just talked about, you know, the opportunity for the next 8 to 9 years. The market is underpenetrated. India is going to grow. It's going to grow from 110 million passengers a year, both domestic and international, to 350 million in 10 years. I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen, and so the opportunity of growth is there. I want to make sure us as Jet Airways continue to grow, maintain the leadership position that we have, and if we do that, we have done a lot.
Nikos, thank you for being with us at INSEAD Knowledge.
It's a pleasure to see you again, and pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.